everyone, Andrew here from MTech Digital Marketing Agency, Google partner and ex-Googler. So we specialise in running PPC campaigns, paid social media campaigns, programmatic display and TV and smart TV campaigns in the UK. So over the next coming series of videos, I'm going to talk to you in a bit more detail about some of those services that we offer and general wider digital marketing information as well, especially looking at tracking and analytics, trends and more insights that hopefully you find useful. So I thought I'd get started by taking you through some hints and tips about building and running a successful PPC campaign on a limited budget. It's something that I have been talking with some networking people that I see regularly about, so I thought it'd be good to do a video on it. So when you set up, Google will push you towards Google AdWords Express if you're on a limited budget, which is a really quick and easy ad campaign builder. My advice, and it was the same at Google, is do not under any circumstances use it. You have a very, very limited control, and for most of it, it's not the right option for you as a business. There are exceptions, but in general, you want to be using Google Ads, but whether you're using Google Ads or Express, Google makes it really easy to build and launch a campaign, but they also make it really, really easy for you to waste an awful lot of your marketing budget unnecessarily. So of course, you've got a few options to how to avoid doing that. You can outsource it to an agency or a freelancer, and of course you can do it yourself. So hopefully this video will give you some hints and tips for you to consider if you're going to be doing it for yourself. And it's there as a guide. It's not going to be perfect, but what we're going to do is we're going to talk about these 15 key areas that you'll see on screen in a little bit more detail. And it's a good place for you to get started with it all. Of course, once you've gone through this video and you're getting everything set up, or maybe set up and running, if you do need any more help, please reach out to the team here, and we'll see if there's some way we can work together to try and get your project where it needs to be. So the first thing you want to do is set the stage. And what do I mean by that for the account? Well, you need to be realistic about what you're going to expect to get. So on a small budget, you need to set those expectations. You need to think about the size and the scope of the account, and that will allow you to keep focus on it in the right way. So firstly, you need to determine approximately how many clicks per day you're going to likely to receive for your budget. Now that's really key for a couple of areas, but I'll take you through some examples here. So if, for example, you've got a £2,000 a month budget and the average cost per click is £2.50, obviously you're going to get about 800 clicks per month. So that's only around 26 clicks per day for about £66. Might sound like a lot, but it really isn't in digital marketing terms. So average clicks to sales or leads massively varies by industry, brand, your company, your website, offerings and so much more. But average conversion rates are only around 3.75%. So if we look at the above example, we'd only be looking at 2 to 3 sales every sort of 3 days. Now just caution on that one, because just because an industry sees an average conversion of say 10% does not mean that you will convert at 10% on a small budget. I wish it worked that way, but it just never seems to cut the maths the same way on that, and that's to do with scope and scale. Be aware that Google Ads or AdWords and other channels as well may exceed their daily budget. So if you set a specific daily budget, from time to time they're going to maximize on the clicks where they see a potential for the sales or the leads. So this means that you could wake up one day and see a big overspend compared to your daily budget level. So the overall monthly budget though should be held, and if you set the daily budget, say £100 as an example, your account should not spend more than £100 per day times 30.8, the average days Google works out in a month. So £3,080. Again, that calculation's on screen for you now. But please, please, please do not panic. I see it from clients from time to time. If you log in one day and you see sort of a £250 a day ad spend on that £100 a day budget, it will balance out over the month. If it doesn't balance out, Google will automatically refund it. So turning campaigns on and off very much messes with the algorithms, and most ad platforms are the same, not just Google, and you will not get a great performance from your accounts if you turn them off and on because you see it spend the budget by lunchtime and you start panicking. You are better to leave it alone if you've got the confidence that it has actually all been set up the right way to begin with. So now what we need to do is we need to take a look at the goals in your campaign and how you've got them set up and aligned. So you need to prioritize the goals that you want the campaign to work towards and for what you want to achieve as a business. So often advertisers will have multiple goals in an account. They won't necessarily just have it set for one goal. Different campaigns will work on different goals, but on a small budget you are going to have a more limited number of campaigns, and therefore the number of goals that you can pursue is going to be limited as well. So Google does look at goals all the time and brings out different ones and trials them in beta phases, which I can normally help you with as well. So currently you can set goals to things like brand awareness, consideration for products, leads, sales, repeat sales, and various other specific measurements that the account is going to automatically try and optimize towards. But using a small budget to promote, say, a plumber's business as an example, you could use a combination of leads, so search campaign goals, and awareness goals, which would be primarily across the display network. So if you're going to divide up your daily budget across the two of them to try and give it a fair chance at both sides of it. Okay, so let's talk about being targeted with your campaigns to obviously get you the best possible outcome and the best clients. So these settings will restrict the traffic that your campaign delivers to. So if you aren't getting enough traffic, you can loosen the goals up stage by stage, bit by bit. But you do want to do it in stages. So the next section is geotargeting. So geotargeting is location-based targeting. It's where you want your ads to show, or to the people looking at the areas you want to show. So as an example, if you're an emergency plumber in London, you don't necessarily want somebody in Edinburgh seeing an advert of yours, because you're not going to do it, and therefore it's going to be a waste of your ad budget and limit your resources as well. You can target, of course, counties, cities, postcodes, or something else. There's a variety of things you can target in there. The smaller area, the less traffic you will get. So you need to balance relevance with the budget as well. Consider obviously adding negative locations in there as well if there's particular areas that you do not want your business to come from, and you want to keep those stragglers from sort of seeing your ads. You also need to decide, of course, if you want your ads shown to people in London, so specifically within the target location, or if you want it to be shown to people who are outside of London but looking for that service within London. An example on that would be, a landlord needs an emergency plumber in London, but the landlord is actually based in Manchester. So if you pick to only show your adverts to people in London and not people searching for the service in London, then obviously your advert wouldn't show to them, so you could have a missed opportunity. But it is worth thinking about it carefully, and you need to make sure it's the right thing for your industry and to target which would be the right options for you. So now that we've got our geo-targeting and location targeting sorted out, the next thing we want to look at is our ad scheduling. So with ad scheduling, it's very simply lets you control the budget by only running ads at the time on certain days or at the times of the day that you actually want your ads to be shown. This can be particularly useful to avoid people up late at night just randomly surfing the web or just randomly looking for products. So you may find over time you may get some key insights about when you should run your ads and and how you should use your budget. So if I give you a real life example of that, quite a large legal firm that we run the marketing campaigns for, we found that Monday and Tuesday are absolutely the best times for us to run their campaigns. It generates us the highest quality leads and the best price. Wednesdays and Thursdays are generally okay. Fridays down a lot, and it very much hit and miss in the morning, but the afternoon is just dreadful. So what we want to do with them is we front load the budget. So with that, we're going to allocate more budget into Monday and Tuesday of each week, except for when there's a bank holiday, because that has a massive impact on it, and it's much lower performance across the whole week. It takes a few days to recover from it, but you need to factor in seasonality into your campaigns as well, and that's imperative to do to get you the best ROI. So if your business is only open during specific hours, and it might be that the right thing for you is to only show it while you're open. If you're the type of business that's very much an immediate purchase, that there's not really any decision making behind it. Obviously, if you sell online, you're always open, so you may want your marketing to reflect that as well. But you want to review the reporting to determine if there are any times of the day which are causing a negative impact to your ROI, and to try and adjust them. So the next area we're going to talk about is match types. So match types are essential to controlling your budget to ensure that not too much of it gets spent in the wrong way, which is imperative on a smaller budget as well. So study up on the different match types that you can do and how each of them triggers ads. I will be doing another video on match types. It's a bit too detailed to go over in this video, but have a look. There's lots of great resources out there about match types. Google has some great ones themselves, as you'd expect, but combining them with your ad scheduling and geo-targeting, you may have to test different match types to get the right balance of exposure and impressions to get the right amount of traffic coming through. And you've got to be quite creative in your thinking. So working on a limited budget means that you will have to get creative about how you're going to get the best benefit out of your budget and how you're going to maximize that return on your investment. So the next thing we're going to talk about are call only campaigns. So this is simply where if you're on a smaller budget, it can work especially well, but essentially instead of somebody getting through to your website or your landing page, simply the only thing that they can do from the ad on Google is to call you. So if phone calls are important to your business, you should absolutely consider running a call only campaign. They're especially useful for businesses like restaurants, taxis, electricians, plumbers. There are obviously lots of other industries as well, but they're the main ones that I find work the best. So display network. So it makes your company appear to be everywhere, and the way that people do that is through remarketing. So essentially somebody clicks on an ad or comes to your website through another method. It allows us to show them an advert again about your business when they're just surfing the web. So the reason that we want to do that is to do with conversion rates. Most people do not purchase on the first visit to a website. Now, we all get served remarketing ads every single day across the web, within apps, on Facebook, etc. One of the companies that does a huge amount of remarketing is Amazon. If you've ever been to Amazon and not purchased a product, you have a tendency of getting stalked by it for a while across the web. And that is remarketing, simply allowing you to try and bring that client back to convert them into a purchasing client. And as I said, it's because the majority of people do not make that purchase on the first visit. If you pay per click, the impressions don't cost you anything as well on the display network. If you're doing it on a cost per click basis, you only pay when somebody clicks on your adverts. It is going to give you a bit broader reach, and it's going to be really, really good for your brand awareness. It's going to make a lot of people sit up and pay attention. Next thing is aim for your competition. So you want to use the portfolio bid strategies that Google Ads now has in it as a way to beat your competitors with something called target outranking share. So essentially it allows you to pick competitors and try and bid to ensure that you outrank them the majority of the time. You simply add the domain to the outrank filter that you want, and then set your maximum bid, and it will do what it can to ensure that you appear above them. So you want to choose the top competitors in your area, through the Auction Insights report, not just who you think your competitors are. Have a look at that, see who you're coming up against, and you want to obviously do the same and go through there and have a look at the search keywords as well. Next thing is tracking, so analytics. If you know me, if you've spoken to me, if you've heard me talk at various industry events, it is something that I am massively passionate about in digital marketing, is tracking it. You need to know what's going on with your marketing spend. If you can't measure it, if you can't track it, if you can't gauge the response or the results that you're getting from it, do not do it. You need to measure every interaction, every phone call, every email, everything. It's what will get you your best ROI from your marketing investment, and tracking is the only way for you to truly know if it's working or if it's not. So you want to ensure you've got tracking set up through Google Ads, through the PPC platform, and of course using Google Analytics as well. You can set up various different events and or actions to track within there as well. I use a specialist system as well, which allows me to measure things like texts, phone calls, length of phone calls, missed calls, newspaper ad calls, and all sorts of other things as well, to give a true overview of the overall marketing performance. But it's critical that you get that data, because it's where you're going to be able to make the decisions on how and what to optimize within your ad account. So the next thing we're going to talk about is keywords. So you want to bid for generic keywords if you have the budget, but on a small budget you probably won't have. So you need to look at longer or unique tail keywords. It's the only way to get a good result on a smaller budget. So average cost per click on Google can vary vastly, from a few pounds to a few pounds, to £60, £80 a click, to the highest I ever saw when I was at Google was, I believe it was £1,084 a click, which was for offshore personal injury, which, you know, very niche, very specific, only searched for about 10 times a year in the UK, but extremely competitive with the payouts involved, so every legal firm wants them. So you can find effective long tail keywords in there for your campaign by going into Google Analytics and having a look at your organic search results that are driving people to your website in the first place, and to see if there's any in there. Have a look at Google autocompletes as well, and using, you know, the tools that Google gives you, like a keyword planner, to have a search as well. So high volume keywords and competitive keywords in general can also be very, very expensive. It's where the majority of conversions come from, and they can make a big dent if you've only got a small budget. So you want to consider putting a cap, a maximum bid on these keywords that you're willing to pay. So in other words, it might be worth accepting a lower ad rank to pay less for a click, depending on the goals of your campaign, your budget, the traffic volumes, average cost per click, and everything like that as well. So dynamic search ads. So it's a big thing that Google's pushing, and my advice would be to avoid them on a small budget. These ads aren't triggered by specific keywords that you choose, so you don't have that control aspect in there. Instead, they're displayed based on keywords that Google scrapes from your website, from the content on your websites as well. So they are really good ad type, but not on a small budget, and it will seem very convenient to set up, but it can give you a lot of irrelevant impressions and irrelevant clicks if you don't know how to set them up the right way and how to exclude traffic as well. Ad extensions. So ad extensions are add-ons to the specific text ad itself. It's a way to maximize the size of your ad, take up as much of that white space as you can, and allows you to put in things that you couldn't just fit within the standard Google ad body. Make sure you've got every extension in place that you can. You want to see more of your ad than your competitors. So you can have extensions for things like map links, callouts, messaging, leads, structured snippets, promotion extensions. There's a whole amount of different extensions in there that add in more all the time. Make sure you've got them all set up, especially call extensions, and you want them there because, you know, we want people to see as much information to make sure you're the right business to click on, rather than wasting your budget. So negative keywords. So negative keywords are keywords that you want to make sure do not trigger your advert at all. It is essential that you have them set up in place, and it's a really good way of controlling budget. So they the best way to come up with them is, do a bit of brainstorm, talk to some friends, colleagues, etc. about it, about what you might not want to trigger your ads for. As an example, you might want to include keywords to do with recruitment, jobs, that type of thing, free, cheap, anything that really doesn't sum up your business or what you're looking for. If it doesn't fit, you make sure you put them in. As I said, jobs, recruitment, etc. is a big one. Last thing you want somebody looking for a job clicking on an ad that you've paid for and wasting your budget. You want to obviously create lists of your negative keywords and keep applying them. Make sure you copy them across to all your campaigns that you're running, and make sure you have them in the different match types as well, to make sure that they are not triggering in any way. So landing pages is the last thing we're going to talk about. You need to have a really good optimized converting landing page. It needs to be really quick to load, it needs to be mobile friendly, and Google judges the quality of a landing page based on a whole host of parameters. Relevancy, originality, transparency, how easy to navigate around it, how structured it is, if it's outdated or not, a whole host of things that go into it. If you need a better website or landing page, obviously I can put you in touch with different people as well, and I work with a fantastic team at Choose Purple who will be able to help you out with your landing pages there. My advice, if you've got a poor website, if you think your website's not up to scratch, do not run any paid ads until your website's running the right way. Otherwise you will waste budget and you will think that you're not getting sales because of the ads, and it isn't. There's something that's putting people off. So everything I mentioned above goes towards something that we call ad quality. So Google gives you a quality score for your ads, and it's Google's way of trying to balance up budgets and to stop big players from always having top spots just because they've got the deepest pockets and they're prepared to pay the most per click. So quality score takes in a number of different things into account. Your ad relevance, so how relevant is the advert that you're displaying to the keyword that the person is searching for. So does it relate closely to the topic that they've searched for? And then how relevant is the landing page to the advert, and obviously back to the keyword as well. It then looks at things like your page loading speed, your mobile friendliness, the click-through rate your ad is getting, and a whole host of other things as well. And a good quality score can not only mean that you actually appear above somebody who's actually prepared to pay more for a click than you, but it actually lowers your overall cost per click as well. The higher your quality score, the less you actually pay per click. So it's a really important thing to make sure you get right. Now, it's not always possible to get a good quality score, down to a number of different reasons, but the majority of times you want to be getting as high a quality score as you can. So in conclusion, low budget campaigns can be really effective if they are managed right. Hopefully I've given you some ideas so you can go out there and rock your own small budget PPC campaigns. As I mentioned previously in this video, if you do need any help, if we can be of any help, or if you're looking for a managed service, if you've listened to all this and gone, what the hell are you going to do? Get in touch and the team will be delighted to take you through it. You can also join a brand new Facebook group. It's literally hot off the press. If you go into Facebook and look for AdWords PPC ad hacks, I have just starting to put out there now, and the group will be a safe space for you. You can go on, you can ask for hints and tips, you leave questions that myself and the team will happily answer to do with your overall digital marketing, not just PPC. We will try and keep people selling on the page off as much as possible. We want it to be a safe place for business owners to learn and to get a bit of help and support in anything else that they might be looking for. We look forward to speaking to you soon, and obviously in the series of videos that we've got coming up to do with digital marketing. So thank you very much for watching. Andrew from MTech Digital Marketing Agency, so mtech.digital is the website. If you've got any questions, queries, reach out to myself or the team, and we'll speak to you soon.